Hi guys, welcome once again to my YouTube channel. I am Michelle, and if you're watching me for the first time, kindly don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and even comment. So guys, in today's clip you're going to see all about Ibrahim Traore. Ibrahim Traore advising and telling African leaders how to deal with Western countries that are trying to take over our countries. Ibrahim Traore is trying to show these leaders the main reason these people are coming to our countries. Ibrahim Traore is also trying to educate African leaders and Caribbean leaders the main reason why they should stop associating with these Western countries leaders, because they're just coming to our countries to take our resources and then leave us with nothing. So guys, let's watch the clip and come back for more.
Bonjour à tous.
Hello, everyone.
Je souhaite donc la bienvenue
I would like to welcome all the young people from the 13 regions who are in the room and those who have not been able to access the room.
tous les jeunes venus d'Afrique.
To all the young people from Africa, to accompany the youth, welcome to the land of integral men.
J'irai rendre un hommage
I would like to pay a vibrant tribute to our strong security and defense forces
qui se battent jour et nuit pour que
who
le
fight day
Burkina
and
Faso
night for Burkina Faso to be and remain beautiful.
Je souhaite que nous prenions une minute pour prier.
I would like us to take a minute to pray for those who are on the ground and also for the rest of the souls of those who have fallen for our country.
Je vous remercie.
Thank you.
Rendons grâce à Dieu qui a permis
Thank
que nous nous
you.
retrouvions
Let us give
ici
thanks to God for
aujourd'hui
allowing
en
us to be
grâce
here
à la
today
célébration de la
to
journée
celebrate the
internationale
International
de la
Youth
jeunesse
Day in good
en bonne
health.
santé. Je le dis très souvent parce que
I say this very often because human beings often forget God when they have no problem,
lorsqu'il est dans le bonheur.
when they are in
Quand il y a les
happiness.
soucis, c'est là qu'on se rappelle de Dieu.
But when worries come,
Rendez grâce tous les jours pour le
this is
souffle
when
de
we
vie et
remember
pour la
God.
santé.
Give thanks every day for the breath of life and for health. Youth,
Jeunesse du Burkina,
youth from
jeunesse
Burkina
d'Afrique.
Faso,
La jeunesse,
youth
cette
from
phase de la
Africa,
vie,
youth, this phase of
on a
life
assez
where
de
we have
force,
enough
assez
strength,
d'énergie,
enough
comme le
energy,
paraphrase
like the
Dr.
paraphrase, the
Slammer
slammer that
vient de
has just passed.
La jeunesse,
Youth is the time when we have
on n'a
spent
pas
enough
assez de
time.
temps. Nous devons profiter du temps qui nous est donné
We must take advantage of the time we have been given,
pour atteindre nos objectifs, pour changer
use
le
the
monde,
energy necessary to
changer
reach
notre
our
monde,
goals,
changer le monde des autres positivement.
to change the world, to change our world, to change the world of others positively.
Les enfants souhaitent grandir pour être jeunes.
Children.
Personnes âgées
Children want to grow up to be young.
redevenir jeunes. Tout le monde veut être jeune.
Older people want to grow up to be
La
young.
jeunesse,
Everyone wants to be young. Youth is a blessing.
alors profitez de la jeunesse pour faire œuvre utile.
So take advantage of youth to do useful
Voilà
work.
pourquoi quand je vois dans le thème choisi,
This is why when I see in the chosen theme, the first two words that come to mind,
intégration,
integration,
sécurité.
security.
L'Afrique fait face à de nombreux défis
Africa faces many challenges,
et on doit se poser des questions.
and we must ask
La
ourselves
jeunesse est-elle
questions.
un atout ou un handicap pour le développement des nations?
Is youth an asset or a handicap for the development of nations?
Et vous la savez. Les pays
The answer is simple and unequivocal, and you know it. Developed countries mostly have an aging population, and currently many countries have launched programs to rejuvenate their populations.
L'Afrique a cette chance d'avoir-
Africa has this chance to have a very young population,
Mais pourquoi l'Afrique n'est-elle pas développée?
but why is Africa not developed?
Nous devrions donc nous pencher sur la question
We must therefore look at the question of why Africa has a young population and why it is not developed, and why developed countries seek to rejuvenate their populations. We must transform our youth into a real asset and engine of development for our continent. To do this, we need integration. We need security and development. We need to unite. You will hear about the African Union. Yes, it exists, but what is the effect of the African Union? We cannot talk about integration and not talk about the African Union, because it is this organization that should unite us, create real integration. But we regret to see this war that persists on the African continent, that kills millions of young people, and that this organization, which has the head of state provided with an army, cannot organize itself to support certain countries. The Union is not just a word, the Union is a symbol. And we young people should learn from this situation to unite us to make integration a reality. I was unpleasantly surprised when Ethiopia, which is the seat of the African Union, experienced a conflict, and when Prime Minister announced to close the university in Addis Ababa to face the threat. I did not see the action of the African Union to protect this seat. Western states, for the most part, saw Addis Ababa fall, fold their backpacks, and leave. Ethiopia fought, found an internal solution, and lives more or less in peace today. The children of Congo have been dying for years. Several other conflicts, such as in Sudan, exist on the continent. We would have liked to see the African Union generate the strength and all the strategies necessary to support its states so that they can find peace. We will not even talk about us here in the Sahel. For nearly 10 years, the Sahel has been the scene of international terrorism. But we see no support from these organizations to find a solution to this problem. Worse, a few days ago, a foreign country in Africa openly announced that it had supported and participated in a cowardly, terrorist, and barbaric attack against the forces of our confederation. The African Union did not say a word to condemn this interference. The African Union did not say a word to condemn this interference of a foreign state in Africa in the internal affairs of our states. I would like them to hear this shout and get out of their silence and take action so that the youth can believe in the African Union. We must unite. The only way to unite is to talk to each other, to understand each other, and to be able to establish the basis of this unity. Young people, let me tell you that to unite, there are three words, three big screws that we must ban from our behavior and our lives. I am talking about cowardice, treachery, and incompetence. We must ban these three words from our way of life. I am going to explain why. Cowardice covers many screws.
Et lorsqu'on a peur,
A coward is always afraid. And when we are afraid, we become slaves. We bend. We lick our boots.
nos ancêtres n'ont
Our
pas été lâches.
ancestors were not cowardly.
Et si nous sommes lâches, nos enfants vont nous...
And if we are cowardly, our children will ask us
Imaginez qu'au
questions.
Burkina, nous refusions de nous battre. Et nous acceptons de nous...
Imagine that in Burkina Faso, we refuse to fight and we accept to submit, to live in slavery.
Ils se poseront des questions. Nos parents ont-ils été des lâches pour nous laisser...
Tomorrow, our children will grow up and they will ask themselves questions. Have our parents been cowardly to leave us in slavery? Whether we are alive or dead, we will feel it.
Et les impérialistes ont compris, ils essaient de faire...
Cowardice is afraid, and the imperialists have understood that they are trying to scare the leaders so that they become cowards.
Tous les autres vices peuvent naître. On fait tout.
Because when you are a coward, all the other screws can be born. We do everything so that we are afraid. They come to our palaces. They threaten us directly or with veiled
Bien
threats.
sûr, nous répondons comme il le faut.
Of course, we respond as it is necessary. They try to make us understand. They take examples every time.
Ils prennent chaque fois des exemples. Ils nous diront, vous
They tell
savez,
us, you know,
Thomas Sankara a essayé de faire comme ça, mais il
Thomas
est-
Sankara
il est
tried to
mort.
do this, but he is
Le
dead.
président haïtien, il a essayé de faire comme ça, il est où? Il est mort.
President Haitian tried to do this, but he is
Gaddafi a essayé
dead.
comme ça, il est où? Il est mort. Voilà des propos qu'on nous tient de manière...
Gaddafi tried to do this, but he is dead. These are words that we take in a veiled way to scare us.
Nous voyons aussi souvent certains jeunes
And we often see some young people trying to take our path in a different way. We can hear them say, such and such person ruled like this, he is in his country.
a régné ainsi, il a la CPI. Telle personne a régné
Such
ainsi,
and
il a-
such person ruled like
Ça pour
this,
essayer de
he is
nous
in
faire
prison.
peur, pour qu'on devienne des lâches. Mais je pense qu'ils n'ont pas compris quelque chose.
All this to try to scare
Quand nous
us
disons
so
la
that we
patrie
become
ou la
cowards.
mort, nous vaincrons. Ce n'est pas qu'une phrase.
But I think they didn't understand one thing. When we say country or death,
Ce
we
n'est pas
win.
qu'une phrase, ça a tout son sens.
It's not just a sentence. It's not just a sentence. It all makes sense. We are not afraid and we will never be afraid.
Ils ont fait peur sûrement à beaucoup de chefs d'État africains.
They probably scared a lot of African heads of state. They probably scared a lot of African heads of state.
Lorsqu'on a l'occasion d'être dans certaines situations à l'extérieur,
You see, often when we express ourselves or when we have the opportunity to be in certain situations abroad,
prendre soin de notre jeunesse pour pouvoir amorcer notre
we
développement.
often say something to call on African heads of state to wake up and take care of our youth so that we can start our real development. So that we can start our real development.
Publiquement, à nos propos,
We are often misunderstood. Some have publicly opposed us. Some have publicly opposed us because they feel indexed. But I can assure you, youth, that when we find ourselves in the corridors,
ces mêmes chefs d'État nous disent vous êtes sur la bonne voie, c'est ce qu'il faut faire pour que l'Afrique...
these same heads of state tell us that we are on the right track and that this is what needs to be done so that Africa can rise again.
Nous leur posons des questions à savoir pourquoi vous ne
So
faites
we
pas
ask
comme
them
nous,
questions
pourquoi vous
like,
nous accompagnez
why
pas?
don't you do like us?
Certains
Why
nous
don't you
disent qu'ils ont
support
les
us?
leviers, certains nous disent qu'ils ne peuvent pas. Chers aînés,
Some tell us that they have the means and some tell us that they can't.
Je souhaiterais dire que les peuples africains sont les peuples les plus pacifiques.
Dear elders, African heads of state, at the end of this podium, I would like to say that African peoples are the most peaceful, that African peoples are the most peaceful. When you recognize a wrong, you have to tell the people. When you recognize a wrong, you have to tell the people. We are not afraid to come out and tell the people we are sorry. We have been compromised. We have been mistreated. We have been compromised by several things, and we ask for forgiveness, and we come back on the right path and to start working really for the independence of our states and our emancipation. And I think it is possible. If we remain in this posture of fear, we will be cowardly and history will judge us. Our children will ask questions. Our grandchildren will ask
Si nos
questions.
ancêtres avaient été lâches,
We are writing history. There is no place for cowardice. If our ancestors had been cowardly, we would not be here. Do you remember? I will give you an example of the people of Bamileke and Bassa. I want to talk about the Cameroonians, the union of the population of Cameroon, which since the 1950s has started a relentless fight against the Poles, but they have been massacred. The French colonial armies, in turn, have dispatched infantry battalions, tanks, helicopters, have annihilated anti-village. The inhuman inhuman tortures have taken place during this period. You can do research on what they call the cart or the bakasima. Hundreds of thousands of people have been decimated in Africa because they dared to ask their settlers to leave their land. A civil war that lasted several years. That is to say that people dared to face the imperialists with their bare hands so that we could be here. There is no reason why we cannot face the imperialists so that our future generations can live. There are many examples throughout Africa of brave men who refused to be cowardly, who fought, who faced. Well, let us be worthy of these people. We are their descendants, and let us be worthy of them. A coward cannot be worthy. Let us not be cowards, young Africans, because a coward is always a traitor. And it goes hand in hand. They will try to frighten us so that we become cowards. And if we are cowards, we will betray. We must ban the treachery of our habits. Africans have been traitors so that the slave trade succeeds in Africa. It is because Africans have been traitors that colonization has been able to sustain in Africa. Let us question history. We will see. Lumumba, Patrice Lumumba, was betrayed because he dared to hold his head. And these same beautiful televisions came to the Congo for a few bids extended to individuals in the Congo for an interview to please their population. And you were able to follow that. Lumumba bothered us. He is dead. We are happy. It is treachery. Many other heroes have fallen so that we are here today. And it is a technique of imperialism to frighten others by taking action to really create terror. It has not started today. I will give you the example of a warrior who fought, Victor Biakaboda. Read it and you will understand. He came from a family of chiefs. No chiefdom given by the colonizer. He was a worthy child. He studied in Senegal, I believe. He became a doctor in Guinea. And when the RDA was created, he went to the Ivory Coast region to fight against imperialists, against invaders, against the colonizer. He tried to organize the Ivorian society. Everywhere, people began to speak up. There was a general in his time, Pichu, who massacred the Ivorian population so that this spirit of freedom could never germinate. He continued his fight alongside Fewrc Lix Ufeboigny. They fought. But the most violent was Victor Biakaboda. He represented a threat to the imperialists. What did he do? In addition to massacring the people who demonstrated, one night they killed him in an atrocious way next to Bois-Flancy. A few hours later, when the people of Dimbakro heard the murder, they marched, they demonstrated. They were massacred by the colonial army. History was killed. The facts are there. After his death, which scared FOC Lix Ufei Boigny, they called him and told him, if you continue the fight, you will meet the same fate. He was afraid and he joined imperialism. He was appointed minister in France and later he came to take the reins of the Ivorian Accord. They used him to eliminate many other people who dared to raise their voices. I think Thomas Sankara is a good example. If you are afraid, you will be cowardly and you will be a traitor. Never be afraid. The fight must continue. There are many other examples around the world. And there is this phenomenon that they have also used for a long time and that they continue to use. You see, some individuals, for example, have found themselves in other countries and created a so-called parallel government to the Malian government. You have heard this story. It is a technique that has existed for a long time. I will give you the example of Ahmed Chalabi, Iraq. This math teacher, who was even in the Iraqi government, was recaptured by the imperialists, and he formed this semblance of parallel government in Iraq, in the United States. And he was used to be the sheep of sacrifice, because it was to him that it was said that Saddam Hussein was developing weapons of mass destruction, and he did it. They used him, and this Talibi was used to kill millions of children in Iraq and destroy Iraq. And do you know what was the fate of Chalabi? One evening after an interview, he said that he knew that the CIA was on his back. A few hours later, he was found dead in his bed, dead of a heart attack. If you betray, you will have macabre endings. That's how it is. Imperialism has no friends. Imperialism uses you. And when it finishes using you, it does what it wants with you. Follow my gaze. You understand what I'm talking about. It has always been like this. The third vice that I invite you to leave is incompetence. I'm coming back to the word of the Islamist who walked on my tongue. Incompetence. You understand what I'm talking about. Incompetence is a very dangerous phenomenon that they use to destroy African society. In our administrations, there is a lot of incompetence. Let's recognize it. Incompetence have a lot of space next to imperialism. Because incompetence can take over the development of a country. Incompetence can lead you to doubt yourself. Incompetents love ease. Incompetents love everything for themselves. Incompetents don't like those who are competent. They don't like those who innovate, those who seek. Incompetents are dangerous. When you are enlightened, incompetents don't like you. When you want to innovate, incompetents don't like you. Incompetents only recognize those who are competent, and they will fight him until his last breath. Because he is afraid of those who are competent. Seek knowledge. Seek knowledge and work. Work hard to be competent. Ban incompetence. Because through distractions that we want to make us adopt, we become incompetent. I'll give you an example. Social networks are the places where information is published today. People are informed through the internet.
les réseaux sociaux un article sur sa ferme,
A young man who publishes an article on his farm or an agricultural project or a scientific project may not have 1,000 views.
il n'aura pas peut-être 1000 vues.
But a young man who publishes on futility has millions of views.
Ce que moi j'appelle du n'importe quoi.
As the young slammer said, we want to waste your time on futility.
Justement, comme disait
Be
le
aware.
slammer,
Let's
on doit
focus
faire
on
perdre
work
du temps
and
dans
seek
la
knowledge.
futilité.
Let's seek
Prenez
competence.
conscience. Intéressons-nous au travail.
It's good to be
Cherchons la
distracted,
connaissance.
but we must work first before being distracted. Seek knowledge, otherwise you'll waste your time doing nothing.
D'abord, avant de se distraire. Cherchez la connaissance, sinon vous perdrez du temps à ne rien faire. Et la jeunesse,
Youth is the time when you must use your time wisely.
il faut exploiter son temps à bon escient. Les impérialistes le savent.
The imperialists know this.
Ils vont multiplier tout ce qui est événement de distraction. Ils vont multiplier tout ce qui est
That's why they multiply all events of distraction.
travail pour que vous soyez des incompétents.
They multiply all events that can distract you from work so that you become incompetent. When you fall asleep, you choose the incompetent to lead the important structures. You have no choice but to fold. Let's not be incompetent. Let's seek knowledge.
Les incompétents se cachent souvent derrière des mots.
Incompetents often hide behind words. They use the terms democracy and freedom without realizing what they mean.
Camarades, la démocratie est un état
Democracy is a state of mind as much as youth is a state of mind.
Ces soi-disant démocrates,
Whether you're a Democrat or not,
comment est-ce qu'on peut
how can you impose democracy by killing millions of people?
C'est de la dictature, ça, ce n'est pas de la démocratie. Ça ne
It's a
s'impose pas.
dictatorship, not democracy. You can't impose it.
Ceux-là qui se disent démocrates, mais regardez, nous avons
Those who
vu
call
des
themselves
scènes
Democrats
où on a
have
empêché
seen
des gens de
scenes
rentrer
where
dans
people
des
were prevented from joining
On a vu des
assemblies.
scènes où des forces ont débarqué dans des assemblées pour obliger
We've seen
les
scenes
députés
where
à prendre
forces
des
landed in
textes.
assemblies to force deputies to take texts.
Plus terrible que ça.
We've seen more terrible scenes where people kill their demonstrators. But they call themselves Democrats, and we're called Perseus.
Si c'est ça la démocratie, je répète. nous
If
ne
that's
voulons pas de cette
democracy, I
démocratie.
repeat, we don't want this democracy.
Et quand vous voyez souvent les incompétents,
And when you see
ils ne
incompetence,
cherchent pas à savoir quelle est la signification du
they
mot
don't seek to
démocratie
know
en
what the
réalité.
real meaning of the word
Ils s'accrochent
democracy
juste
is.
à la définition qu'il lui a donnée l'impérialisme et il se met
They cling to the definition given to them by imperialism and start talking about democracy without really knowing the basics. That's incompetence.
Regardez le monde pour redéfinir la
You have to know,
démocratie que nous le
look at the
voulons.
world to redefine democracy as we want it in Africa.
Les incompétents se cachent derrière les libertés.
Incompetence hides behind freedom. Remember, there is no individual freedom. It's a fact.
C'est un fait.
Do you really think everyone is free? Freedom is collective. As long as we live in a society with rules, freedom is collective.
Avec des règles, la liberté est collective. Parce que si vous ne respectez pas les règles,
Because if you don't respect the rules, you can't live in society.
si vous êtes libre de parler comme
If you're
vous
free
voulez,
to speak as you please, the other is free to answer as he pleases. That would be disorder.
ça sera du désordre. Si vous êtes libre de
If
rouler
you're
dans la
free to
rue et
walk
de
the
passer
streets
le
and
feu
pass
rouge
traffic
comme vous voulez,
lights as you
l'autre est
please,
libre de passer aussi et de vous cogner.
the other is free to pass by and
Vous
hit you.
comprenez que si
You understand
la
that if
liberté
individual
individuelle prend
freedom
le
takes
dessus,
over,
nous sommes
we
dans
are in
une
a
société
society of
de désordre.
disorder.
Voilà pourquoi il y a des règles dans la société.
That's
Les
why
règles,
there are
tout le monde
rules
doit
in
les
society,
respecter. Et là, on parle de liberté collective.
and everyone has to respect the
Donc,
rules.
certains se donnent le droit de parler de leur liberté individuelle.
That's why we're talking about collective freedom. Some people have the right to speak about their individual freedom, but they don't care about others. I think that's also part of incompetence. Because they don't try to understand. They make up the rights given by the states to serve and do everything for themselves, neglecting the freedom of others. No, freedom is collective. Before we act, we think about the freedom of others, and we shouldn't transcend the freedom of others. So we need to have a reserve. And once we have a reserve, individual freedom doesn't exist. Freedom is collective, and we need to have this culture of collective freedom. So let's seek knowledge, let's read, let's interrogate history. Don't read the history they wrote in their favor. Seek knowledge through several sources, and you will understand in history who fought for Africa, how we must fight to continue this struggle of our ancestors. And I won't finish my words without making a statement about communication. Because, as I said, it's the fatal weapon of imperialism. And you young people, you must do everything to distinguish the true from the false. We will continue to dismantle the lies of imperialist media that always try to create problems in Africa. Because these media, through their mouths, can make you a king tomorrow. Through their mouths, they can make you leave your position as king and make you a poor slave tomorrow. Pay attention. I was following a program, unfortunately not long ago, in Burkina Faso, where a young journalist released a sentence that left me a little perplexed. He was talking about North Korea, and the journalist said, "But he is starving in North Korea." Has he taken care of going to North Korea to investigate to see if he is really starving? Since imperialist media have sold North Korea is more developed than many European countries. And because these media tell us that North Korea is a dictatorship, people are starving, they are poor, they have nothing, we take it here. But North Korea is a nuclear power. How did they do it? Let's pay attention to communication. We must not blindly follow these lying media that only try to divide Africa. It is logical. They fight for the interests of their people. And the interest of their people is that Africa is divided. So, young people of Burkina Faso, young people of Africa, we must unite. We must ban cowardice. We must ban incompetence. We must ban treachery and all the risks in our society. We have the opportunity to speak. We thank God for these opportunities that we have each time to speak, to raise awareness. And I invite you to spread the word, to get to work so that the Africa that we want, self-sufficient in terms of food, is a reality. So that the Africa that we want for harmonious development is a reality. Let me finish because I return to your theme. There is no peace and security without development. The two go hand in hand. If there is no development, there is no security. Because if there is no development, the youth will inevitably find themselves in the vice and there will be no security. If there is no security, there is no development. So the two must go hand in hand. Let's integrate this in our fights so that we can fight and develop. Let's go towards production. Let's produce enough. Let's transform our raw materials so that they are beneficial for our populations and in terms of exportation. I wish you a very good day of reflection on the chosen theme and also on the essential role of youth in this fight. Good luck to all. May God make sure that all those who have made the trip return home in good health and that we can meet again when we wish it by the grace of God. La patrie ou la mort. Thank you.
just want to know where it take. I just want to know where it take. So we just unite. We have a powerful leader, Africa. Yo, it's just the love inside of my heart. It's just the love, the movements, the power, the force when I see the man have from so far. Yo, we've been down for too long. Africa, stand up. We've been down for too long. Africa, stand up. We've been down for too long. Just because of our skin color, we get treated as the less. Africa, stand up. Younger generation, stand up. The time is now. The time is now. And as a Jamaican, with tears around my eye, we need to unite. Ibrahim Traoré, like, the love is massive. As a Jamaican, I represent Africans, no matter which part of Africa you're from. Now is the time to stand up. Now is the time to make your voice hear. We've been down for too long in a mental slavery. We've been down too long in a poverty. We've been in a modern slavery now for too long. We need to break the cycle there. And we have one leader and we can't afford for them doing like what them do the rest of the leader them. This one is for people. And as a people person, this morning I get up, I'm tears. But the tears I love for no say. Yes, somebody's here we are represent. Somebody's here. Somebody there we are stand up for we. Somebody there we are stand up on Africa and say, yeah, this is what we deserve. This is what I feel we are gonna make use of it. So if you're African, a time to stand up. A time to stop running back at white people. It's time for we put ourselves in first.
While everyone's talking about Ibrahim Traoré, about Africa breaking free from old systems, colonial currencies, foreign control, it's probably a good time to ask, what about the Caribbean? Jamaican dollars printed in the UK, Barbadian money made in Canada, independent on paper, dependent in production. And this isn't just symbolic, it's economic, because if you don't control your currency, you don't control your economy. In a crisis, you wait. In inflation, you stall. You're always a step behind because the tools that power your system still belong to somebody else. And here's the part that no one says out loud. Africa is the business of the world. So is the Caribbean. We export the talent, the raw materials, the culture, the compliance. They export the profits. So when Traoré talks about cutting ties, he's not just being radical. He's being strategic, because if you don't own the process, you are the product. And that's the business case.
A fire! It's a blazing years. Me I say for big up Ibrahim Traoré. Yeah, from Burkina Faso, Wasso. You know, she said, Jah rise up a deliverer in Africa. Yo, Mandela reach him at a different level at a different time. But they never did know, say, yo, Ibrahim Traoré would have reached them this way at this time. Ancient sons and daughters of Mother Africa. Long were the days of pain that we have spent in bondage, and longer yet were the nights of aloneness. And know that yesterday is today's memory and today is tomorrow's dream. If today is tomorrow, what's tomorrow today? Our ancestors are the boats from which Ibrahim Traoré as a living arrows are sent forth. African, rise above your ashes as a phoenix. I am a poet, and what do I care about our black story? It wouldn't do if anyone should tell I that I and I should have forget our black story. For with the shackle and the chain with the beat of our backs, they beat us. They beat our ancestors so hard that this generation is still feeling the pain. Whoa, they wanted to kill us, but you know, we got the will to live. That is the reason why we survive. We are the leaves of life, we can grow anywhere. Ancient sons and daughters of Mother Africa. On fire, it up blazing, yes. Big up, may I say, to Ibrahim Traoré, yeah man, down a Burkina Faso. You know, see themself a pick sense out of nonsense. But Ibrahim Traoré see no sense into nonsense and no nonsense into sense. The man senses sense as sense and nonsense as nonsense. So Ibrahim Traoré draw fence between the sense and the nonsense and draw fence. Him look at the sense and he looks at the nonsense and he still go back and check the fence from depths to extents. You know, see that this leader spring up like, you know, dense like weeds from extra depths of existence. Is nurtured, all people learns to aspire. Ibrahim Traoré is more than corn and autumn's fire. He comes with sober harmony, nurse the hope, his cause is mine, I will not give up. A fire, African unite. Ibrahim Traoré, big up yourself, and that way I say from down in Jamaica, you saw. Yeah man, keep it together. Africa unite, blazing.
America is so out of touch with reality, they think that the same playbook that they've been able to use on other African leaders is gonna work with Burkina Faso. This man bulked up his security before he tried anything. He first got the Sahara Alliance with Mali and Niger, and now other African countries are trying to join them. Pulled out of every Western-sponsored African union. Made deals with Russia, China, and now has North Korea coming out and saying, we got his back if anything happens. You're not dealing with the Africa that you were able to manipulate. The Africa of our grandparents and our parents, where you manipulated and destroyed everything and convinced us that our countries were shitholes when you steal resources from our shithole countries. I am so proud of Burkina Faso and everything that country has been able to do and all of the Sahel Alliance countries. Now we just need other African leaders to wake the F up and understand that Africa has the resources to dominate the globe. And it is time that we stop being considered a shithole continent altogether because these countries have decided that they would rather keep us impoverished than working.
Hi guys, I hope you have all watched the whole clip and you have seen Ibrahim Traoré as one of the African leaders who is trying to fight for blacks, right? And as African countries and Caribbean countries, it's high time we see the kind of leaders we are electing, because Ibrahim Traoré is trying to show us that we are electing leaders who think they own our countries. We are electing leaders who think that being in that office can allow them to do anything they want. Ibrahim Traoré is just that kind of one of the leader who is not tired to fight for blacks, right? And as African countries and Caribbean countries, we need to learn from what Ibrahim Traoré is trying to show us, because we are being treated as fools, we are being treated as trash with these leaders. And Ibrahim Traoré is trying to show us that these Western countries are coming to our countries to invest in them, and then we are left with nothing. They are just coming to our countries because they feel like our countries has a lot of things to invest in than in their countries. They are coming to our countries simply because our leaders are allowing them to come to our countries to do whatever they want in our countries, to invest in whatever they want, to do build whatever they want, to start a business, to just do anything in our countries. And yet, as a country, we're not benefiting simply because these people are coming to our countries to start a business, and that business, the government is only benefiting on that business simply because these people are coming to our countries to build businesses, and they are coming with their own employees. They do not employ people from our countries. They're coming with their own employees, and that is not leading to any growth to a country, because it will lead to lack of job opportunities to the youth. It will lead to lack of a lot of idleness. A lot of drug will be in our countries. That's why we are always fighting drugs, and we don't know the main cause of these drugs to be in our country. So it's high time we fight from the roots. We should not cut a tree and the roots are still there, because it will still grow. we should know the main cause of this problem that are affecting us as the African countries and the Caribbean countries, and try to deal with them correctly, and try to deal with them in a different manner, because we are too ignorant, we are too comfortable. That's why these people are just coming to our countries and we are not doing nothing. And Ibrahim Traoré is trying to show us that some of these leaders we are electing are just coming to squander our money and leave. They're just coming to sit, they're just coming to benefit themselves, because some of the Western countries are looking for the leaders who are against Ibrahim Traoré, and they are trying to paint a bad picture about Ibrahim Traoré. They are trying to make Ibrahim Traoré to look as the bad person, of which the internet, in these social media handles, the TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, we are seeing the good work Ibrahim Traoré has done to Burkina Faso. Since Ibrahim Traoré sat on that seat, he has made a great improvement, he has made a great development, he is really helping Burkina Faso to grow. And Ibrahim Traoré decided to not allow these Western countries to come in his own country, because he feels like these people are coming to take their own opportunities, the opportunities that are supposed to benefit the people of that country. So Ibrahim Traoré knew and felt like the first thing he is supposed to do is to remove these Western countries in Burkina Faso, of which he did that, and that is helping Burkina Faso a lot. This has made Burkina Faso to grow. Burkina Faso has developed since Ibrahim Traoré made that move. Burkina Faso has really become a country that is being talked about because of its fast improvement. We all know Ibrahim Traoré is one of the youngest African leaders, and is that leader who is always fighting for the black people's right. And as African people and Caribbean people, we should be in support of Ibrahim Traoré. We should not allow these Western countries to fool us. We should not allow these Western countries leaders to fool us as the young people. We are seeing the good work Ibrahim Traoré is doing, and we are supposed to support him because he's doing a great job, and we need this kind of leaders like Ibrahim Traoré. Ibrahim Traoré is showing us that we need to come up and start choosing leaders with brains, not with hearts, not with tribes. We should choose leaders who think about us. We should choose leaders who can take care of our rights. We should choose leaders who prioritize us first. So guys, let's support Ibrahim Traoré for the good work he's doing. Let's be against Western countries coming to our countries to take over because they are coming to benefit themselves. Let's support the young leaders who are coming up to support our rights. So guys, if it was for the first time you're coming across my video, kindly don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and even comment. One love.